I won't spoil the times just yet, but I'm going to say the Lion's Arch ones are pretty wild, right? I would never expected it to be possible to do Lion's Arch this quickly. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy having a look at these and seeing all the techniques that are involved here. And, you know what's even better, and again, I won't spoil who it is, actually, but there is a familiar face actually really kind of dominating the map completion scene. I didn't expect to see this individual pop up here, actually, but it's really interesting to see that, you know, speedrunning is definitely something that, you know, you're not in it for the type of content, you're in it for the concept. Gamers, do you like to go fast? Do you like speed? I like to be comfy. Okay. Slow and easy. Well, you've come to the wrong place for that, because today is all about some speed. Here we actually have the first one. We're going to be starting with Rata Soom. And coming in at third place, it's going to be, again, another familiar face. Actually, a tryhard raider. It is going to be Manigold, in fact, playing here, going for the, you know, the map completion, and even using a custom route to make sure it's done correctly here. And I think we're going to see a few different approaches with profession choice and also mount usage here as well. You can see here that all these things are being linked together by this overlay. I presume this was actually custom designed by the player there as well. Of course, a really key thing in speedrunning like this is actually developing your route, right? And trying to find the optimal thing. It's a bit of that kind of traveling salesman's problem. Very difficult to actually brute force, in fact. When you add loads of things, you can actually kind of try this. It's a very difficult problem in mathematics. Very hard to do this in an efficient way without brute forcing it. And adding loads of different nodes into play actually makes optimizing this sort of thing very, very important. But we already see excellent mount using the Sky Scale to boost, and then the Griffin, now into the Raptor here as well. So getting a lot of, there's the Bond of Faith as well for the big leap through that portal. But there you go, right? Okay, but yeah. Fantastic. Taco isn't banned for this? Well, no, guys, it's no holds barred here. It looks like we actually do have loading screens disallowed. That actually makes sense, given that it can actually be a big deal depending on your different PC there. So it's actually going to be in-game time money. Dude, even going for the Choya, the true instance content strats coming out there with the Choya for the extra speed. You love to see that. You really do. And there we have going into the Snaps lab there. Here we go. We're going in big there. 1 minute on the clock so far. This is going to be around a 3-minute run there, not quite the sub 3. It's going to be the 3:01 right there. Yeah, the toy axe not in use here, but don't worry, guys. We're also going to see some very familiar faces from perhaps the PvE scene that may be abusing even harder. Now, I think the interesting choice here is to actually go with the Mesmer, right? You know, to me, it would seem obvious to almost go with the Thief, right? Because obviously, sometimes you want that immediate burst mobility that the Thief can provide. Of course, Mesmer does have access to blink, although this is also being done at a low level, so you don't have access to all of your abilities here at the same time, right? But there you go. Let's now go ahead and continue here. As we get to the next descending point. Oh, and even going for the glide. Okay, grabbing the vista by gliding down through this territory. It's really interesting to see the way Radasum is actually structured, right? It is a bit of this multi-layered, multi-tiered object that does allow you to come up with some really interesting pathing, right? And this is really, really complicated, right? You got to think about this, guys, right? There's so much weird stuff you can do here, but you can go between the two levels. You could mount up, you could mount down, you could glide between all of them. Ooh, now this is an item you're going to be seeing a lot of, 100%, the prototype position rewinder. And this is honestly some of the really interesting things actually about the open world, right? The open world is completely unchained. You can use any kind of consumable, any kind of item that will allow you to very quickly get a bit of a bonus, right? You could do White Mantle Portal, you can use your position rewinder, which is kind of the same thing in a way, right? All of the outfits to go a little bit faster, all the mounts, of course, are unchained here as well. Ooh, precision jumping. Ooh, lands it there as well. That could definitely get a little bit slippery for sure. You could fall off that pretty easily. I think, yo, eyes are there with the raid. I appreciate that, man. Let's go. Also, Artio in the chat there. Hello, how you doing? Good. Here we go. We're actually coming up to the final stretch right now. Just 92% completion. One more thing, I believe. One more POI, and that might actually just about do it. And another waypoint. I think here is going to be the final thing, and there it is, a 301. Exactly, they're getting that loot. And look, there you go. Free transmutation charge for completing that city. What a run. Not quite getting it to the sub 3, because next up, we actually have another run, and, well, this is a pretty big improvement. We actually have a 157 coming out here from, okay, this individual here. It's going to be Rakio. Okay, I don't know, some kind of weeb name or something, maybe. Here we go. Sky scaling up immediately. Vista being grabbed instantaneously, that double boost from the Sky Scale. Very handy for that burst movement. Griffin activating, and then it's going to be the Beetle here. Yeah, and I think this might be a fairly commonplace thing to see in the kind of like these very fast runs here, using the Beetle, because there is actually a good amount of kind of wide open space in the Grove, kind of these winding lanes where you can kind of lean into it pretty effectively. Very nice there as well. And yeah, you can always tell when people know what they're doing with the Griffin, because they're able to do these little twitch dives to just ever so slightly adjust their vertical positioning, right? And keep that momentum and just be right on the edge, like these little mini dives. Very efficient. And yeah, we see that layer being completed and then directly down to the second one. Yeah, getting a big wide drift. Look at that. This is basically like a Beetle racetrack going for the drift all through the house. Yeah, there's a lot of objects to watch out for bonking here, but they aren't actually getting bonked right now. This is good. Oh, this is going to be a fun drift around this corner. There it is, descending to this lower level now, and we're nearly at the end already. That was one hell of a blitz in that middle level. Sky scaling up there. That is Wicked Steer right there. That's a big Wicked Steer moment for sure. Very impressive from this individual, actually. And now we're basically done, actually. Like, you know, we're on this bottom floor, and it's simply a case of going for a full lap around here. Oh, it looks like those, I presume those things actually have collision, hence the Sky Scale over those. There's all using that gaining momentum there. This is kind of the difference between the Griffin and the Sky Scale. The Griffin can't really gain height, but it can maintain its height very well, and it's obviously faster than the Sky Scale. The Sky Scale's advantage is that it can go up, right? You can climb, right? So a similar route. I think the really big difference here is just better use of the Beetle. Oh, there's the Jackal Leap there as well to finish her on the waypoint there, but actually going for the Vista last, in fact, grabbing that waypoint and then Sky scaling up. Oh, that hesitation there towards that Vista, that was actually, that might be a pretty brutal hesitation, because you guys might think that was a hot run, but listen, things get serious. Things get competitive here in the city map completion contest. And it's going to be a very different approach. We may be seeing a total custom route. So far, we only saw custom routes from the first place for these maps, but here we're starting from a different location. Instead of the Lion's Arch portal, we're going in from the Queensdale portal. So it looks like we are going to see a very different approach. Ooh, action cam here, and warrior too, actually. So utilizing that Savage Leap for mobility instead of the short bow. Very interesting stuff there as well. So instead of going for the thief here, and now let's see what the approach is going to be here. So it's going to be Roller Beetle and going towards the center, so kind of joining up very quickly. But that waypoint has been unlocked a little bit earlier outside of the map there. Let's see what this is actually going to generate in terms of value. Now kind of getting to that central area next to the Lion's Arch portal, moving in directly there, grabbing all the things within the instances. And then, of course, we'll repeat the same thing for the throne room, then the final POI. Now, what's going to happen after this? Will it merge and join up with the similar pathing that we saw last time? Or are we going to see something a little bit different? Let's find out. Jackaling through here as well. Again, fantastic for that burst. And then here we have that waypoint usage going to kick off immediately. Ooh, and it's going to be Griffin play here. This could get very interesting, actually, because we, I think there is definitely potential to really unlock a lot of this stuff here all in one swoop, because you do have a kind of a good amount of, ooh, that's nice. Oh, that's juicy. Oh, is he going to keep the speed? Oh, it does actually land there, but still is able to get into immediately another dive. Oh, I'm not sure if that was quite intentional. I think probably wanted to keep that speed there, but gets to the Sky Scale, gets to this Vista very, very efficiently there too. What are we doing next? There's another waypoint. Going to double back and grab this other waypoint by the looks of that, or at least get this Vista and then complete the rest of this little segment, little kind of quarter, well, not even quarter, 1/6 of this map. So really going for a lot of teleportation here, actually. Going back to this waypoint again. Springering up all the way to... I think we're going to see some Griffin stuff here, I believe. Maybe, yep. No, it's just going to be a leap into a glide. Now we see the Griffin come through. Going to yoink that waypoint, and that massive height is going to generate a huge amount of velocity here, because the Griffin, you kind of have two versions of the dive, right? You have like dive number 1 that gives you loads of speed, but you need a little bit of verticality to truly build that momentum. And here we go. You can see a totally different approach, really giving us a fantastic view of the skyline as we go through these maps here. And let's see if this Griffin approach is going to generate a lot of velocity. Ooh, there we go. Nice. Gets through that, through this piece of terrain up top there. Of course, this is one of the things that you actually don't see a lot of people know about the Griffin. You can actually you can keep your height pretty well on the Griffin really well, because you can use the kind of rear up function, right? You know, you basically press backwards, or this, you know, the different key that you can see the key bound there as well, the C key here, to immediately rear up and kind of get back to where you were. So we're actually seeing a very extended segment, and almost like the openness of this map without the ceiling, like no ceiling on this map, being very beneficial actually for this Griffin approach, this Griffin technique that's being used, allowing these long segments to continuously unlock loads of different waypoints, and then of course teleport back to them. Now we see the beetle being used here to open up. Oh, bit of a bonk, actually, but still able to grab this here and recover fairly effectively. It's going to be another teleport here, probably into some more Griffin gameplay. No, it's going to be Springer. Actually, I think it will be Griffin. It's going to be Vista, probably then into a Griffin moment after this there as well. Actually, no, it's going to be Raptor, in fact. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. What can I say? Map completion noob over here. Yeah, this is later approach. Yeah, this is a very waypoint-focused approach, as you can see. Grabbing a lot of those very quickly and then simply using the teleportation, which is even faster than mounts, to get there very, very quickly. I think this kind of technique and approach is really being made possible by the fact that loading screens are being discounted. Because, of course, if you had to deal with loading screens, then this type of approach would obviously get punished a lot more, because you're going to have to actually have that real-time component to it. But thanks to the loading screens being only in-game time actually counting, this is actually big value here, allowing these waypoints to generate a pretty insane amount of value for no real downside for this player. But we're nearly at the end here, actually. We are nearly done. A few more vistas to mop up. In fact, well, I say that, no, that's the last one. Just a few more objectives to collect, and this is going to be the end of that. 3 POIs to go, and I believe that will just about do it here. This should be the final segment of the map there. One more teleportation required just to finish the job in this final area of Divinity's Reach here, going into this the library area, teleporting. Wow, a lot of teleports going down here, using that savage, just that extra bit of optimization. And here we go. I think we're approaching the final, so we're now griffining to victory here. One more thing, and there we go. 407. So a totally different approach to the first one we saw there. Really utilizing that Griffin to extreme effect there. Very interesting approach with the 407. But I've got to say, you know what isn't a 5-minute run? A 4-minute one. That's right. The reign of terror of the Frenchman continues. Okay, he is back again. Okay, White Warrior here with a 457 run, and I believe we may see a little bit of custom routing, although this is actually very, it's very close, actually, with these individuals, right? Like, all these times are basically within 20 seconds, so it might just come down to extremely clean execution. But no, that is not going to be the case. We immediately see a deviation from the path there as well. Fully custom approach here from the Virtual Squirrels player there, beetling up, backtracking a little bit, and we'll now go for Zerg. Honestly, it feels like a bit of a slower start, but I imagine what this makes up for and kind of not getting that initial momentum, this routing is going to make up for in overall efficiency, and that's where those extra 20 seconds are going to come from here there as well. No overlay. Yeah, he doesn't mess around, guys. He does not mess around whatsoever. Huge content, okay? Huge content indeed. But anyway, here we go. Going for this Vista here. But yes, we just see this slightly... And yes, waypoint usage coming in a lot earlier here for this individual. This pathing is so curious. A lot of the runs we saw previously kind of go for a really wide... They like sweep the map, right? It's sweeping the map out there as well. But this time it's much more of a scalpel, pinpoint approach to actually unlocking all these things. They're going for the beetle, they're charging forwards, they're grabbing this waypoint, and I think we might actually see this waypoint being used later on. No, now we're going to go over to the right-hand side of the map, the eastern side, grabbing the stuff over there as well. It's going to be exciting stuff, it really is. No overlay. Overlays should not be allowed. I think they're fine. I mean, look, the thing is the overlay doesn't necessarily get recorded. For example, if you use game capture on OBS, it's entirely possible, actually, that Warren here actually made a custom route and is actually using this as a guide. Because bear in mind, look, this is not something you do first try, believe me. You know, this was a fairly short-term competition, so you can't just do, like, mega grinding, right? You're not going to be grinding for months but doing this stuff. But there was certainly a high degree of practice for these players. Ooh, a slight bonk there, but doesn't actually get up the skill. And then waypoints back. This is almost the trademark of this player here, really getting value out of these teleportations to push this to the limit. Now going to the jumping puzzle section here. We're going to see some thief shenanigans very, very shortly. Ooh, yeah, no, slipping on the train a little bit. So more room for improvement either. Just maybe a little bit of time. Here's the port coming through there. There's the first port. Going up to the vista, grabbing that very quickly. There it is. And then the waypoint back towards the central area, going for the speed. Yeah. I did it first try. Easy first try. Beetle probably into the skimmer here. There we go. Here's the skimmer. Boom. Learning those new skills for underwater combat. Oh, picking the lever rewards. It's a relaxing, chilled run. And we almost see this the exact same thing happen again. Going for some of the things that we saw picked up later by other players being picked up fairly early on in this particular route. Now it's going to be Lighthouse, and you can kind of see it coming together. Now look at the mini-map, right? Like all of the things left to unlock are towards that the northwest of the map, and that's what's going to get cleaned up here. We're going to see a climb here. It's going to be Springer into the Thief ports here. Something we're very soon. Yep, there is the Bond of Faith into the ports, climbing up very, very quickly. Showers up into, of course, that short bow fire, the infantry shot, into another Springer. Then we're going to see Griffin action once again. Can't see the minimap because of the chat. Well, look, you can pretend, okay? You can pretend. No beetle here. Warper spin. The beetle is optional. The only thing you need is that Griffin, and I think that's, you know, I think that's no surprise, right? Because of course the beetle is very fast, right? But if you think about it logically, the beetle is great, but the Griffin gives you that control over the third axis, right? Over the Z axis, and being able to control your position very efficiently in all three dimensions is going to be unbelievably important when you're dealing with a full map completion speedrun, which is exactly what we see here, right? These maps are vertical. They have that verticality to them, and that's where the Griffin can really shine. And it just goes ridiculously fast as well. It really is fast. And of course, you have that efficiency of having to, you kind of going in a, you know, think about it, right? You can go in a straight line, right? Instead of having to kind of go, you know, across then up, right? Or then down then up, right? The Griffin skips that by going, you know, along the hypotenuse of the triangle, right, guys? Okay, the speed. But, yeah, we do... Oh, that was a nice drift there. Look at that. That was kind of what I was hoping to see in LA, actually. Getting that very clean mount usage there. Grabbing that POI. Sky scaling up. We actually do still have the endurance refill. Are we going to see it? No, it's going to be the Bond of Faith there to leap off. And then Sky scale or the Griffin again towards the finale. I think we just need a waypoint and a little bit more than this. And we are actually done. Okay, 3 more POIs to unlock. I think... Do we actually finish in the same place here for once? Or maybe actually... Oh, yeah, I think we are going to get the final POI is going to be the same one again, diving down with the skimmer and ending it there on a 4:57, the sub 5 run. Wow. And yeah, that's the interesting thing, right? Just think about it, like using, this is why all of these, you know, kind of really interesting techniques that you see these players used, and you're not necessarily going to be doing this like in your day-to-day gameplay, right? Maybe a little bit too sweaty for that unless you're really, really into it. But these kind of techniques can absolutely increase the efficiency of your gameplay. A lot of you guys probably make legendaries, right? A lot of you are, you know, doing map completion in HOT and Path of Fire to unlock these Gen 2s. You're going to have to do it in AOD, for Gen 3s. Like, learning a few of these techniques can really help you, actually, with just slightly increasing the overall efficiency of your gameplay and pushing it a little bit there when it comes to moving around the map, keeping up with meta trains, right? Completing these maps, getting all these rewards very efficiently, right? And just thinking about your pathing will overall make you a better player. Very important stuff, actually. So it's interesting to see all these techniques being showcased. It really, really is. And that is going to be the contest. And, well, we can very briefly actually look at the results of this actually here. If we go to the results thing here, to the map completion speedrunning, you can actually see, if we go here, yeah, it is going to be the 5 first places from White Warrior here, actually. Very, very impressive there. Rank 1, rank 1, rank 1, rank 1, and a rank 1. You can see we actually did have a good amount of entrants here as well. We can see, we'll just have a brief overview of these entrants that we see here. We had everything ranging from a 4:57 on LA down to a 9-minute 22. We have a Radasum. We had 8 entrants. Here again, 2 minutes to a 6-minute 57. The Grove, 1 minute 55 to a 4-minute 16. 10 entrants there. A popular one. In fact, you love to see that. Divinity's Reach. Again, we have 7 entrants here as well. Holbrack, 8 again there as well. And of course, finally, the Black Citadel with 7. Actually surprising that, we actually see a lot of the same players competing in all of them. And actually really sticking out and getting the job done there. But very, very impressive stuff there from all of these runners. Of course, there are all videos of these guys. So if you want to go check out the other runs, I'd highly recommend taking a look at the speedrun.com. There's actually a lot of other stuff here, not just map completion, of course. You can even take a look at the full map. Oh, no, what a marathon! Oh my goodness. 9 hour, the sub 9 hour from, of course, the organizer of this fantastic event himself. It is going to be Zotma there with an 8:59 for full map completion. But there's more than that. You can see raids here as well. And hey, look, what is this, guys? Can we have a look at a full clear? Oh, look at that. There it is. The 204 from the gamers here. You love to see it. You really, really do. But there's plenty of really interesting things here you can see. You can see boss speed clears. You can see individual clears here. You can see raid clears, right? All sorts of really exciting things. And just the peak pinnacle of Guild Wars 2 speed gaming and speed competition. So once again, big congratulations to our winners. Each city had a bounty of around 2,000 gold, basically 1.8k gold per thing is actually up there as a bounty. And of course, a big shout out there to Zotma for organizing, promoting, and setting up the entire thing there as well. So get me a clap in the chat and maybe one more Frenchga for the absolute devastation, okay, of the speedrunning map completions out there as well, okay?